Hi, it's Carol Ann Buchanan again. I love to bake. Every year at Christmas time, I usually make about 34 different kinds of cookies and candies to share with my family and friends. This started out as just a little bit of a way to share some goodness from my kitchen with everyone else. However, this has turned into, as you can see, a huge process. So this year, what I'm going to do is show you how to make one of my coveted recipes, which is peanut butter chip. Because everybody clamors for these cookies every year, you know, it's really kind of quite amusing. And the only way that they get a refill is if they return the container during the holiday, then they can get a refill. Other than that, they're on their own. Make your own cookies. So, to start this off, this is what I usually do. Usually I have music on and everything, but it's not the holidays, so here we go. We're just going to do this plain. First thing is, I wash my hands. I've already done that, because cleanliness is very important when you're cooking. Okay, I already preheated my oven to 375 and assembled all the utensils and ingredients that I need. What you need to have are dry measuring cups, like this, which are flat across the top, as opposed to a liquid measure, which is like this. It's very important when baking to get the measurements exact, otherwise it won't come out correctly. Also use measuring spoons, spatula, you have your drying racks, you have oven mitts, of course your pans, which I've lined with parchment paper. You don't need to use it, but I do. It makes cleanup so much more easy, and peeling the cookies off. And your mixer. You can use a hand mixer if you don't have one, or just a bowl with a spoon. And I have my ingredients assembled. I have light brown sugar, flour, baking powder, salt, vanilla, an egg, and of course the peanut butter chips, my butter, 2 sticks of butter. Okay, first in a small bowl, I combine 2 cups of flour. I already have one in there. My second one here, and you see how it's lumpy? You can't do that. You have to smooth it off. So take a straight edge till it's flat. Okay, put that in. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Same idea with the baking powder. You must flatten it out. Put that in there. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which I just spilled, so I have to add a little more. Okay. Put this off to the side. Then, in my mixing bowl, I combine 1 cup of flour, which is actually 2 sticks. Hint, it says it on the wrapper. So, we're going to put this in our mixing bowl. Snap it into place. Lift up the handle, turn it off. I'm going to do 3/4 cup of packed light brown sugar. I already have 1 packed. It's important to pack the brown sugar. It's very easy to do. I use the side of the bag to push it in. Okay, here's my sugar. And 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon. So I'm going to stop this for a minute, since my butter has started. Put the sugar in. It comes out real easy. That's good. Add my vanilla. Turn the heater back on. Let that roll. Okay. Now, leave that on until creamy, which they sometimes, you know, could be 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It depends. You should really use room temperature butter. It works a little bit better. Not melted though. Your cookies will run all over the place. Okay? And then what you do, since it's creamy, lift up a little bit. Let that butter roll. And I'll take my spatula, push down the sides, make sure all the ingredients get in there. See, it's starting to come together. Next, I'm going to add my egg. Try not to get any eggshells in. Most people, they'll just take it, crack it, put it in a bowl, make sure first, and then dump it in. So I usually just do it in the bowl, but here we go. Do it on my own. Right here. No eggshells. Beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to add this to the mix. let the paddle go, and start at medium speed. Make sure when you're adding ingredients or whenever you go to put your spatula in, you turn off the mixer. You don't want to get hurt. They don't seem very powerful, but they really are. Just scrape down the sides again a little bit. Get going. Put it back on. Incorporate the rest of the ingredients. Next I'm going to be adding the dry ingredients that I had measured out, which is the flour, the baking powder, and the salt. Oh, almost forgotten the sugar. Now I have to put the sugar in. I already put the brown sugar in. I need to put the white sugar in. And that's a half of a cup of white sugar. This is okay to be added now. Half a cup. Make sure it's level. Throw that in. Mix that up the rest of the way. Okay, perfect. Now, as I said, we have this in here, our dry ingredients. I'm just going to mix them up a little bit here. Get the salt and the baking powder in with the flour, so it's not all in one spot. Okay. Now, since that's mixed, now it's time, very important, to turn off the mixer or you're going to be covered in flour along with your kitchen. Put that in, a little bit at a time. Mix back up, turn it back on. As you see, there is some powder flying up there, a little bit of flour. Alright, push back down. Rest of my flour. Come on, buddy. Come on out. Join the party. Important to incorporate all the ingredients. Get in there, get in there, get in there. Okay. Pull that up. That is mixing. We're getting there, very close. Okay. My oven should be preheated by now. I'm going to just open these. I don't quite need them yet. Try to open them anyway. Guess I'll need some scissors from somewhere. Or a knife. There we go. That works. Oh, that looks perfect. Look at that. Dough is coming along. Okay, now I'm going to unhook this, unplug your mixer before you take the paddle off. If you can get the paddle off. Okay, here we go now. Here's our dough. Need to take my peanut butter chips and mix them in. You can do it with the paddle on, but you'll probably end up breaking your chips. So, knock the dough down. And we're going to mix. Spoon. Mix this in real good. So you get even chips throughout, or pretty even chips. Now I know you're tempted to eat this dough. I know I am. I love to eat the dough. However, it's not good for you because there's raw egg in there, which is very unhealthy. It can cause salmonella poisoning, and you don't want that. Okay, now we have our dough. Cookie dough, yummy cookie dough. Look at this. Just looks amazing. So now what I do is I take the dough, put it on my pan. Usually drop it about a teaspoon at a time onto the pan, like so. And we'll do one pan at a time. Like I said, the parchment paper really helps with the stickiness. Don't worry about the shape. It will come together. You got to keep people's paws off the cookies before they are cooled off, or they end up with a stomach ache, or me yelling at them, and I don't want to tell you what they call me when they start taking cookies off my trays at Christmas time before they're ready. Anyway, some of these are good to go here. We're just going to start the second pan here. We've got a dozen on one pan. I'm just going to pop this in now for us so we can go real quick. And into the oven we go. 375. We're going to go 3.5 minutes at 375. When you put the two trays in, it's usually 7 minutes, but I'm doing 3.5 so I can switch the trays halfway so they get evenly browned. All right, now back over here, I'm going to do a little bit more here. Remember, it's very important to clean up everything that you do. Make sure everything's clean and washed when when you're done, and even before. Make sure everything, including your hands, is clean. Very important for health, safety, and delicious cookies, because who wants crud in your cookies, right? All right, so we're working on this. We've got probably about 30 seconds on those, but a couple more minutes. And